What's up, everybody? Good evening. How you all doing? Hope you are well. Welcome to the internet. Hello to the internet. Just let us know, guys and girls, when you can see me and when you can hear me. Hopefully, everything works well. We've got a whole new setup tonight, so fingers crossed, everything holds up. You know, we've spent a lot of time and money. Sorry, Mrs. MPW, setting up the new studio space. There's been a lot going on because obviously the channel is kind of going towards a bit more aviation based and not just the drone side of things. And we're not going to disappear from the drone side of things by any stretch of the imagination, but hopefully you're all aware that that is coming, and that is happening. As part of that, I'm actually sat right now in the cockpit. So you're literally joining me live in the cockpit with Mr. MPW, which is our new simulator setup that we've made. It's a little bit echoey because we're still waiting for sound kind of deadening material to come. But other than that, I think we've pretty much got the audio working now and dialed in. So hopefully, yeah, people saying that's a lot better than last time, which is good. And fingers crossed the visuals are a bit better as well. We should have a better connection. I've got proper studio lights up now, which we didn't have last time. So fingers crossed, we're all good. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've had a great week, and I hope, more importantly, that you're all staying safe and healthy, and that everyone that you know and love is staying healthy as well, because that's really important at the moment, over and above everything else. So just let us know where you are, what you've been up to, what you had for dinner in the chat. That'd be much appreciated. Just so when I start all that coming on, we'll then crack on. We've got a wicked kind of evening of Mia Hurst. Nice to see Mia in as well. Hi, Mia. Yeah, we've got a wicked evening of guests tonight. I think last week's format went really well in that respect. Again, there's a lot of kind of tech going on, so please bear with me if we have any major dramas on that side of things. Fingers crossed we won't, as always. But we've got guests. We've got Sean Hickey from GEEKSVANA, who's very kindly agreed to come on as our resident drone journo expert. He's going to be on hopefully every week for 5 or 10 minutes, just to give us the lowdown on what's gone on during the week. So that's pretty cool. Very kind of Sean. And if you haven't checked out his channel, GEEKSVANA, go and check that out straight after you have finished with us, and give him a subscribe. Doing lots of cool information and informative videos over on his channel. And then we've got Alex Cameron from Echo Alfa, a company that we've worked with quite heavily in the past. Probably one of the companies that are at the very top of the drone industry. And he's coming on to talk to us about how they've got to where they are, what they do, and more importantly, I think for all of us, particularly based around some of the content that we've had coming out on the channel over the last week or so, which has caused some controversy in itself, to talk about upskilling and to talk about some home learning that you can do and that we can do within the drone industry right now whilst we're furloughed, or potentially kind of not able to go out and work, not able to do our normal things, that will hopefully help to get you in a place where when you come out of the other side, you will be able to be in a better position and market yourself better, market yourself harder, and get going. So, right, let's crack on and get on with tonight's content. So, kind of a busy week, I guess, in terms of drone stuff, particularly for us on the channel. It's been quite busy, and hopefully you've enjoyed the content that's come out this week. Very interesting. We've seen a lot of subscribers. I think we've got nearly 400 subscribers on the channel this week, so thank you to everybody who has subscribed. If you're watching now and you haven't, then please press that like button. Go and smash it now. It costs you nothing to do that. And don't forget to click subscribe as well on the channel. We have stuff coming out pretty much every single day during the working week. And we're doing it for you. We're doing it for the subscribers. We're doing it for the community to try and answer the questions. And that's what it's all about. Every video we do, we've done it because a question has come in about that. That in itself leads to a bit of controversy, I think, because, I understand that not everybody agrees with my opinion, right? That's why there are opinions. That's why there are different political parties, because everybody has a different viewpoint and a different opinion. But what I think at the moment is more important than ever, and the general consensus, I think, throughout even the controversial videos that I did was the same. It was all very much, you know, we shouldn't be flying our drones recreationally. If you've got to go out and fly commercially, then fine. You know, you can probably get away with doing that, and that is okay. But thank you to everybody who did join in those, and thank you even to the people who were hating on it, because it's very good, I think, for all of us to get that difference of opinion. And if you can reason and balance out and provide me with some evidence that will make me change my opinion, then I'm all for that. You know, that's what life is all about. But to those who are sending death threats to me and my family again, and I wish I was joking about this, they've all been forwarded on to the police. So thank you very much. Keep that coming, because it gives me much entertainment when that does happen. So I'm going to tee up Sean in the background. So hopefully I can get that sorted now. While we're doing that, I will just there we go. Looks like we're almost up and running on that side of things. Good stuff. Hello, sir. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can.
Excellent. So we are going to go over to Sean. Welcome on to the show, Sean. I'm going to try and remember to look at the camera and not look up to the screens I've got dotted.
Yeah, I still do that all the time. I have multiple monitors set up, and I'm always sort of looking around them and the camera. Look at the camera.
Guys in the chat, because it's the first time I've done it quite like this with this audio setup, just let me know if the audio levels are about right, please. And if you need me to boost myself or drop myself down or vice versa, let me know. Keep that going in the thread in the comments, and I'll adjust that on the fly. And once I get to know how the setup works, then we should be good. But yeah, welcome, Sean.
Thank you, sir.
Been a busy week, I think, even though you know, it seems like, I don't know, DJI are dropping something every week at the moment.
It's one of those periods where everybody seems to say, "Oh, it's we don't really see you know, much drone news at the moment." You hear a lot of channels saying, "Oh, there's not much news around." It's sort of, well, actually, there seems to be an awful lot of news around. As you say, DJI are dropping things all the time at the moment. Obviously, they've just decided to drop the new Matrice 300 RTK, which we did follow with some interest on the channel. I did a couple of community tab posts about it, but obviously it's as we come from the hobbyist side of things with a lot of our stories, this very much enterprise drone, which is out of the dreams of most of us hobbyists as far as affordability or, you know, any kind of practical use. But it's an incredible machine, absolutely incredible machine, and it shows their dominance in that side of the marketplace, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the OcuSync Enterprise was the big one for me. Seeing that go in there, and as is always the way, right? We're a distributor, but we don't know about any of this stuff generally until it comes out into the public eye, which is just bizarre. But
how nice of them!
Yeah, thanks, guys. But
they do seem to have changed how they handle their launches recently, haven't they? Even with the consumer stuff, there's a lot of fairly sizable channels that we would normally count on having these types of products that were just excluded this time from the last couple of launches. So they seem to be handling things slightly differently.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's quite interesting, isn't it, to see. I think they've always wanted to be like that Apple of the drone world.
Yes.
And I think they're very much achieving that aim.
Exactly.
You know, it's becoming quite divisive. You get in that camp of, I want DJI and only DJI, and everything they bring out I'm going to buy. And they know full well that that is the case. They know that they've got that market. Hence, you know, the Mavic Air 2, I think is fair to say. And also I suppose sorry, I've just seen volumes in and out. Is that happening for everybody? Might be
1 2 1 2.
Might be on my side, not yours. I think I'll just tweak them down. But keep that coming, guys, just so I know. Yeah, and then there's the other camp where they're all, you know, it's the PC camp, right? Where they're anti-Mac and
yes,
so.
exactly. And we are starting to see that polarization more and more with DJI, which is interesting because we don't really have too many real competitors to them in the marketplace. So it's interesting that it is quite so polarized. But absolutely, as you were saying about getting, you know, threats, etc., which is absolutely absurd. But there are some diehard fans out there who will not have anything said bad about their product.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's one of those, isn't it? That good in a way that exists. It's just a shame that there isn't a level competitor or someone who, and I think bridging that gap is going to be almost impossible.
Yeah,
It's going to take a mistake on DJI's part, or
well,
go wrong.
Yeah, I wonder once all the regulations have come in and once all of the remote ID and everything else really changes the hobbyist side of things dramatically. I wonder if someone like Sony might come out with their little phone-sized drone that they've been talking about for a very long time, and I wonder actually if the consumer and the hobbyists, so staying away from prosumer drones, will change so dramatically that it's going to be a different type of hobby anyway. Much more autonomous flight rather than us controlling things as much. So I do wonder if it will be one of those things where, a bit like how Microsoft came out with the Xbox and sort of took the market away from PlayStation, whether something like that might happen once, but I'm talking 5, maybe even 10 years down the line, once all of these remote ID in the US and everything else is fully out there.
Yeah. That's it. Lots of people, saying that the sound is low. So I have, on our side, everybody, it is peaking where it should be. So
yes, my mic levels on my side here are showing me a nice green and slightly yellow.
Yeah, so and some people saying it's fine. So I think we'll carry on.
Okay.
I am recording it though, unlike last week. So if it does get corrupt and breaks down, then we can sort it out. It's all a learning curve, right? Like this live stuff. So
absolutely,
especially from the garage.
I think you're doing really well, by the way, with your content from the garage. It's pretty incredible for that.
We're trying. Yeah, but I think M300 is all good. Has your Mavic 2 arrived yet? Your Mavic Air 2?
No, I think it's between the 11th and 14th. I chose to. I usually order it from a UK based supplier, a company that's so big. It's obvious who, rather than going direct from DJI, because I like their return policies and that type of thing. And yeah. So, but yeah, between the 11th and 14th. So I'm very excited.
Perfect. Will you come and show us all that when it arrives? Will you bring it onto the channel one Thursday? Thank you.
Absolutely.
And what we're going to try and do is, as we mentioned, we're going to try and get you on every Thursday, or certainly whenever we go live on Thursdays, to try and get you on to have these little chats and bring a different viewpoint in, because it's really helpful. Thank you very much, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me here. It's fantastic.
It's brill. But yeah, great stuff. Thank you ever so much.
No problem.
Have a good evening. Look after yourself. Have a great bank holiday. And,
yes.
We'll catch you all next week, guys. Thank you in the comments to Sean, please. Thanks for joining us. He will, I think, probably be sticking around for a little bit. He normally does.
Absolutely.
And answering questions and stuff. And go and check out GEEKSVANA. Go and check out the channel. There's some cool stuff about. You went live on Tuesday as well. I'm so sorry I missed that, dude.
Oh, that's okay.
Live after this, but.
Yeah, no, that was just down to the guests' diary, which we change it slightly sometimes for that.
Got you. So yeah, check out Sean. Go and support his channel. He's growing quickly as well. Does different stuff to us, and quite an interesting one about a long endurance drone that went missing over the last couple of weeks. So, and
those poor Latvians. I really feel, and you know this as a professional drone operator yourself at the highest levels.
Yeah.
What would that crew feel like walking back to the tower and walking back across that airfield to we've lost the drone, and the conversations going up and up the hierarchy from the tower to their CAA to the CAA to government to say we have to shut the entire country's airspace down at one stage. It's
yeah, not cool. But then they dealt with it correctly, as they should do, and it was all sorted.
Spot on, exactly.
We're going to get those issues, I guess, as we integrate with manned aviation.
Exactly so.
There we go. So, thank you ever so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you very soon. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Catch you in a bit. There we go. Thank you to Sean from GEEKSVANA. Much appreciated for him taking his time, joining us, and like I say, talking about a few extra bits and pieces. So, lots of stuff coming in on the questions. Just before I crack on with that, if you do want to come on the channel tonight, I'm not sure whether we're going to get round to it timing wise. If you are interested in coming in the channel, send me an email now with "pick me" in the title and your Skype details in the body of the email. That's all you need to do, and I will endeavour to give you a call towards the end of the show this evening. Let me just, sorry, looking away from you all, make sure I've got that ready to rock and roll. Gosh, right, we are cooking on gas. So yeah, there we go. So thank you for that. So, let me have a quick look through. Just a few welcomes to people. Sean Diamond, good to see you. Sketchy Minx, nice to see you. Phantom and Drone, good to see you in here. That's the Hero Sorted Big Clap, excellent. Paul Burns, nice to see you, sir. Galloway, Mountain Rescue Team, and you want to not seen you before. Big G, Big George, welcome. El Smeghead, thank you very much. I think that's just finished with pie and chips. I do like my pie and chips. But you know what? I'm being very good at the moment. I'm trying to lose some weight and get my cholesterol under control. Andrew Vincent, Robbie Mortlock, Stephen Briggs, AirTech Images, beautifully sunny West Midlands. I thought we were going to have a thunderstorm earlier. Actually, in the West Midlands, we're in Stoke-on-Trent, so and it did look pretty crazy. Airview UAV, welcome. Awful toothache. I hope that gets better. John Mansfield, hi from Abergavenny. Hope it's sunny down Abergavenny. AirTech, yeah, great to see all of you in here and lots of new names as well. Cam Wings, James, nice to see, sir. Christopher Sales, yeah, all good. Cool, great stuff. Right, so we are a couple of things I want to talk about whilst I get the next guest lined up in a moment. The regulation changes, as hopefully most people are aware now. 1st of November this year is the current date that the CAA are looking to bring in the regulatory changes over to the EASA framework. I know that's caused a few issues in terms of the A2 CFC. We've put more than 100 people through that training course already, hoping, well, under the understanding really that on the 1st of July this year, they would be able to, crack on and exploit the options within that A2 framework. Unfortunately, that does mean that it's going to bounce back until the 1st of November, and I know that's caused a few dramas. I'm sorry to anyone who's been caught up in that. We did approach the CAA immediately and said, is there any, is there any scope for people who've been through our training course to operate under the framework? And there isn't, I'm afraid. So there's literally nothing we can do about that. A couple of other things that have caused controversy this week from our side. We obviously did a piece on flying your drone during the lockdown. Hopefully, and again, please drop it in the comments if you've got any kind of questions or thoughts on that. But at the moment, as we stand, I think that's where we're at. Recreationally not flying. Commercially, yes, if you can and you can do so safely, that's fine. The other one was flying in your back garden. Lots of people, it seems, are taking up FPV. Lots of people, it seems, are taking up going and flying their drones in the back gardens. And hopefully, if you haven't seen that video, go and check it out. If you have seen it, hopefully it made sense. We've got to abide by the rules and regulations, everyone. And as a community of drone operators, it's important and incumbent, I would say, on all of us to make sure that we can do that and we do it safely. We don't bring the industry and the hobby into disrepute, because if we do that, we're all going to get stopped from doing what we want to be doing. And, I don't think it'll be long, fingers crossed, until we are allowed out to do what we want to do rather than be made to do what we don't want to do. All right. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And to be honest, I'm sure most people who are in the feed tonight and are watching me live probably, I would dare say, agree with that. It's the people who are hating on it that probably won't want to be here anyway. So I've seen that. What about delivering dental prescriptions via the hacked Mavic 2? I mean, crikey, I guess it was done safely, but I dare say outside of the regulations. That being said, a hand on heart couldn't say, because there's a lot of impetus being put on the drone technology being able to be used for that kind of thing under the current exemptions. So if they have worked with the authorities to be able to authorise that, which I doubt they had, but I can't say because I don't know, then a bit like most things, we probably shouldn't throw the kind of speculation around and work out for ourselves, be judge, jury and executioner on that side of things. But yeah, it was very interesting. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. The dental implants being sent to somebody when, to be honest, drop them off in a truck probably, or a car, you know what I mean, like just drop it off. A bit overkill, really. But I suppose it's gotten a lot of PR and it's got us talking about it, which is exactly what it is all about. Matt's being diplomatic. Yeah, a little bit. I've got to be careful, right? Can't say either way. Neil Wells, welcome. Can Nigel, welcome. AirTech, welcome. David Hurst, spelled properly. Also, we've got Robbie Mortlock. Questions long, Matt, so in 3 parts. You might have to drop that in, Robbie, again. Sorry, I haven't seen that. Or drop it in an email. I put pick me in the title and I might be giving you a call. So send an email, matt, M-A-T-T with 2 T's at MrMPW.com, or go onto the Discord and drop something into there as well. 2,000 pounds for a PfCO, maybe. Right, I'm going to get our next guest teed up right now. It's Alex Cameron from Echo Alfa. One of the videos that we did this week, again, caused a bit of controversy, particularly if you go and read through the comments. And we had some nice defensive ones, so thank you for that. Which I did about additional courses and additional training on top of your PfCO. Now, my intent with that was not to tell people that you shouldn't be doing additional courses, okay? Additional training, CPD training, that side of things is really, really important. We all need to continually develop our skills, continually learn, build and grow. I'm big on that. That's why we do the channel. And a lot of the stuff we give away is for free. Now, one of the big things I think at the moment is, whilst we're all in a position where, you know, we've potentially got a bit of extra time on our hands, we're aware that we could be doing kind of external courses and online courses and things like that that can help ourselves upskill ourselves. I don't think we should be talked into or persuaded into or pressured into buying courses which aren't going to help us. So non-qualifications, as I'm going to call them, and I know that caused a lot of controversy on the actual video itself, qualifications which aren't required, that aren't going to necessarily help you get business, that aren't necessarily going to help you achieve an aim, I think aren't worth your time and money, particularly at this time when a lot of us are desperate for a way to upskill and want to know the best route to doing that, and we potentially aren't bringing in as much money as we normally would. And I think the time for that, you've just got to be careful and not be effectively kind of predated on, I suppose, and taken advantage of when it comes to buying those. Now, that segues quite nicely into doing the whole online thing and getting yourself upskilled. And that's exactly what we're going to talk to Alex Cameron about today. Alex, I say, from Echo Alfa, one of the, I would say, the UK's leading drone operating companies. They operate under an OSC. Lots of the stuff that you'll see on TV is done by these guys. And they have done some big commercial contracts with ourselves all over the country. And they're great guys, but more importantly, I think they have been working on a bunch of online training, which they're going to come on and talk about very shortly. If you are interested in that, once we're finished, look down in the video comments down below. There is a link to their academy on the website, and they've given us a 50% off voucher for viewers on the channel and you know, viewers of the kind of stream. So and that's epic. That it's not an advert. They haven't paid to be here. That it's not a sponsorship thing. I'm not getting any kind of kickback. Purely, again, trying to build this community of people who are here to genuinely help each other out, and we're trying to bring you the best people and the best content and that kind of thing. So I'm going to get Alex on the dog and bone now and see if we can make this happen and speak to him. Go. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you this evening? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Nice to be here. Nice to see everyone watching online at home and stuff. It's great.
That's it. Yeah, look at this. All this setup you've got going on.
I just popped to the office, as they say.
Representing in the office. That's it. Yeah, very nice.
To be fair, the real environment is a little bit less clean than the one that's going on at the moment. Thought we'd light it properly for today as well. So we've representing, as you say.
I like it. No, it looks good, mate. It's all good. Well, listen, thank you ever so much for joining us. I know that you know, you got kids and stuff like that as well, and it's a bit of a nightmare at the moment doing all the
avoiding bath time at the moment, actually. So I'm glad to be here.
You can come on every week.
Just about this time would be perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Great stuff. Well, mate, so and hey, we've got people in already, right? Watch the free workflow training, very clear, truly experienced tutor. Get the good looking one on next time. Well, yeah, but
I try. You can't. At the moment, I'm not trimming my hair or anything, but I'll make an effort. I promise. In the course, I'm trimmed and dapper and coiffured, ready for training so that you're not distracted by me and you're taking in all of the stuff we've got to say. Hopefully it's important and interesting as well.
Yeah, great stuff. Well, mate, like I say, thank you for joining us. Get into it, because I think, like I say, it's a bit of not a controversial topic. I made it controversial, right? I'm pretty good at that. That's what I do.
Well,
It's good for views. Without giving the secrets away now, right? But yeah, I think one of the big things, like I say, people trying to upskill themselves. So I think if you could just give us a little bit of background on yourself, your role within Echo Alfa, what you guys get up to, the kind of stuff you fly, because ultimately I think a lot of people watching the stream now will be in a position where really they want to be doing what you guys are doing. And if you want to see how you should be marketing yourselves, everybody, like, go in and look at Echo Alfa and their social channels, go and look at what they're doing. People like Echo Alfa Impact Aerial is another one, Stratus Imagery is another one. These guys and girls are kicking ass and taking names, and these guys in particular. So yeah, mate, just over to you. Give you a few minutes to chat about yourself and what you're up to.
Thank you ever so much for the opportunity. It's an interesting one, because Echo Alfa is a formation of myself and Adam Howard Dobson, and actually it's a weird one because we went to school many years ago together. Actually, we're a couple of years apart, but we've known each other all this time. It was only fairly well, I suppose, about 6 years ago that we actually formed the company and decided we should do this properly. I have a filmmaking background. Adam has a heli flying background, both manned and unmanned. So he has a lot of experience in that side of things. I have more experience in the pretty making side of things. So it falls quite naturally, because Adam, I don't say so much he loves the rules and regs, but he definitely takes on the mantle of the rules and the regs side, the technology, the equipment. Although, whilst I'm interested, I kind of go, yeah, that's lovely, but can I have something to color grade, please? Or can I shoot something? So that's kind of the two ways that it sort of formed up quite nicely, because we just fell into our natural roles. So I tend to camera op for a lot of the jobs that we do. Adam tends to pilot, although we're both pilots. We've had a PfCO for, as I say, about 6 years now, I think, and OSC for a couple of years, I think, and that's kind of one of the reasons we got sort of more ingrained with what obviously you're doing, because we did your training with you guys at some point, and then we also went on to get the OSC, and we did some OSC jobs with you guys, actually, thankfully, and some nice fun jobs for TV. We did I think it was the Great Hospital Experiment, or the Great NHS Experiment, which was on BBC Two last year, flying at Royal Derby Hospital, which obviously would be normally a position where you think, oh crumbs, we're never going to get a drone permission to fly there at all. And it was really useful because they were really helpful. We had the OSC in place, and it was a recommendation actually from yourselves. So thank you ever so much that we got to go do that one, which was fun.
That's it.
And so, as I say, I run a small film production company, but it's more based on the video marketing side of things now, and a little bit more on the training side of things. Through this drone stuff, actually, we were flying the S1000 with an X5R on it, which was obviously the first raw shooting DJI camera. And it was just an amazing piece of kit that we just were blown away by when we had it, because it was doing such great, the high bit rate for it was just perfect. And it was amazing how mobile it was for a camera that could really compete, alongside, the Arri Mini and stuff like that. So the Alexa Mini. And basically we said, well, we need to work with this camera. How do we function, and how do we put the files through and grade it? And the workflow was so convoluted, because people were talking about going into After Effects and then having to grade the first frame and then carry it through to all the other frames. And as we know, as drone pilots, it doesn't make sense, because often you're starting looking down, then you look up at something and the whole scene's changed and the lighting's different and the colors are different, and you've got to go back in, splice it, cut the next frame, and it was just a nightmare. So we looked at DaVinci Resolve, and that was kind of now how we got into that, because I think I adopted it probably when it was on DaVinci Resolve 12, so a few iterations ago, and just loved it. And I was blown away, because they then not long after that, they made it free. So the base version is free. It's cross-platform, so it works on Mac and PC. And because Adam's a PC and I'm a Mac, at least we can still talk to one another in the office. So that's good. And it helps. There's no sort of arguments. We can sort of work, and it's fine.
Nice.
But because of that as well, it handled the raw workflow from the X5R camera just so well. It was just seamless. It was just drag it, drop it, and it was playing back at 25 frames per second. Couldn't believe it. It was actually playing back better than H.264 footage was, right, because it's obviously an uncompressed format. So perfect, and it was great. And as a result, we've just fallen more and more in love with the system, and particularly because at the time, and as I'm sure a lot of people watching probably do, if they're doing work for TV or shows, or maybe for production houses, where they're going to shoot their footage and then hand it off to somebody. What you would often have to do is give them a bunch of dailies, essentially, rather than just lots of sort of uncut drone stuff, because we found typically that they don't, bizarrely, you'd think professional editors would understand, but they don't always understand that we were sort of doing pre-roll at this point. We were still getting our camera settings right. There was a gimbal twitch. We were just setting ourselves up for the run, and they'll include bits like that in the footage. So we made a point saying, right, we're not putting out work that's not been topped and tailed and so forth. So we would actually dump everything into Resolve, top and tail our clips quickly, and then spit them out the other side. But the way of doing that in Resolve, you couldn't do it in any other platform but Resolve, because Resolve has the ability to spit out individual single clips on a timeline. So you just dump everything onto a timeline, top and tail, top and tail, top and tail, and then bung it out as new files, new dailies, which you can just hand straight over in ProRes or whatever format you needed it to be in, ready for the production house. And it just handles it so well. So we've just fallen in love with it. And since then, I've gone on to become a certified trainer. So I'm now training in Resolve as well.
Nice. And I think that's the big one, isn't it, really, is that, you guys have, like you say, embraced this platform, cross-platform. That's it. So that you don't have to, beat each other up in the office. And I disagree. I think we've got the good-looking one on this time. But anyway, Adam's going to come in the thread again in a second. And be like, what are you on about? And good to see you on to that progression. But I'm just going to, if it's okay,
sure,
about that side of things.
Yeah, of course.
A little jump back.
Of course.
To because this is really interesting for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people go off and they go into it thinking they're going to make a lot of money buying a Mavic Pro 2 or something, getting their PfCO and cracking on. And everyone who's watching hopefully is aware that is something that I'm like, that isn't going to work, okay? But for you guys, it's really interesting because you could both fly, which is great. So you both got that air awareness. You both got the understanding of how and like the mechanism of moving a camera around in 3D space, which is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that allows you as a camera operator to know and ask for the camera to be moved in a certain way that is achievable. And if it isn't, then Adam will be able to tell you that. But you guys have kind of, between you, fallen into the correct roles for you. You don't rely on just one person doing everything. And we've always said this, the way to get that absolute kind of top end footage, the way you get that high end data for a client that you can genuinely make good money from, unfortunately for a lot of people, is to have those specialized roles within the business. And if you don't, then you kind of almost have to become a master of all trades. I was going to say jack of all trades, but you've got to be a master of all trades, right? And so for me, it's like I'd always had the kind of interest in the photography and the cinematography in the background, knew how to edit reasonably competently, and understood camera mechanics and all that sort of stuff properly, on top of being able to fly. And I think that's one thing that made us stand out over the pack, is that I then knew almost before the camera op told me what I needed to be doing or what he wanted, how to put the camera where it would look good and it would work for the shot. And for you guys, you've obviously specialised down into those roles, which is important, but you've got a lot of cross-pollination, and I can see Adam's just dropped in, communication is so key. That communication, though, is made so much easier when both of you are aware of what the intent is, what the aim is.
Absolutely, yeah. It's totally built on that, actually, in communication. And it's quite nice because we often have shoots where, and I'm sure we've all had this, where you'll go out and you'll plan a shot, and then it maybe the talent on the ground doesn't quite play ball, or something doesn't quite work the way you want it to. And what's lovely is that one of us can adjust before the other one's had to take action, because we've worked together well, but obviously we're communicating the whole time. So Adam will tell me he's easing off, and also I'll have to bear that in mind with my gimbal movement, to not kind of throw on the brakes really hard, and things like that make such a difference to then getting achievable results. And going back to what you were saying about, let's get a Mavic, let's get trained up. I can fly a drone. Let's get a Mavic Pro 2 and zip out and get some pro jobs. So, I mean, I kind of suppose I caveat that slightly, because I think you're right. There are certain jobs where you'll have to turn up with kit because there'll be an expectation, and there is seemingly an expectation game, a bit like with ground filming. You turn up with a a DSLR or mirrorless camera, people go, really? Are you going to shoot commercial work with that? And you go, yeah, look at the image. And this is the key, I think, and this is something we've championed a lot, and particularly from my point of view, is that the client doesn't care what you're flying. And this is, I appreciate, sometimes they do, they grant big films, etc., because they need cameras to match perfectly, so it needs to be an ARRI for an ARRI or whatever it might be, or red, but for the most part, they're booking you because they want a result. They want an outcome, and that outcome is generally based on the data set. So whatever that's photography, video, survey work, whatever it is. And I think people miss the trick slightly because they go out at it as drone pilots, not experts in photography or experts in data gathering as surveyors or whatever it might be. So this lockdown period provides a perfect opportunity for people to go, actually, some of these areas that maybe I'm a little bit weaker in, or maybe I'm not booking jobs because, I think my show was lovely, but no one seems to comment and say nice things about my work. Well, why is that? Maybe ask the question of yourself that actually, could you improve the end result, which is ultimately what they're paying for?
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah, that's it, and I think you hit the nail square on the head there, and I know this is something that we've talked about in detail in the past as well. You're not going out to fly a drone. You're going out to get an end result for a client, whether that's commercial data, whether that's photography, whether it's videography. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it's all about, going out. And for us, we used to go out and we would take the big guns with us, right? Everywhere we went, and we would take, air guns and Altas and put things out in front of production at the the food village. So it was like, holy shit, that's what the drone guys are using. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. But we wouldn't fly that. We'd go and fly an Inspire 2 or something, because that got the data that the client needed and we could do more with it. But they saw the cool drone.
Yeah.
They thought they'd paid for the cool drone. And it's like, you're not. You're paying for the footage and what I can do with the drone, what the camera op can do, because we're working together well. So
that's it.
Yeah,
exactly. And we've I would say our majority of the work that we do is the Inspire 2 with the X5S, because I've had people come to me and say, oh, can you fly this camera? And we said, we can, but can you tell me why you might need that? And they go, oh, because, and then they can't actually give you an answer a lot of the time. So you go, okay, well, can I just try a couple of shots with this, because it's, the drone is a bit smaller, we can do more with it because of weight and payload and how we can maneuver the drone and where we can fly and how we can do it safely. And they go, okay, we'll give us a shot. And they go, actually, and often they then turn around and go, do you know what, we'll just take the H.264s. We don't need the Pro. We don't need the Pros. We can't actually handle it. And a lot of turnaround that we've been doing has been quite quick turnaround as well. So they've needed it fast. They just haven't had the time to take the Cinema DNG 2 gig 60-second file or whatever it is off us. That's been part of it. And it's good to have, as I say, it's great to have those two people in our team. I appreciate when you're a solo operator, it is hard to just say, right, well, I've got to kind of be a jack of all trades. But this is potentially where, especially if you're in the drone industry, it's not going quite as you'd want it to. Why don't you partner up with someone else, offer it as a joint effort under one entity, and then see how that works for you? Because it might just be that having two heads is better than one. I think the shots that you can achieve when you've got someone dedicated to camera and someone dedicated to the aircraft are just so much more. It's quite clear when someone's done one that's not there, it's a single shooter shot job or it's a dual shooter job. And we, as I said, we often save one another as well. There'll be a shot where, I know that Adam's veering off course and I'll save it with the camera move or whatever, and vice versa. Sometimes he'll be bang online and I'll balls it up, but he'll save it because he knows that I need a bit of height coming in or whatever. So, and I think it's quite funny. I've often once thought we should videotape our conversations that we have with one another during a shoot, because it becomes sort of monosyllabic, kind of up, down, faster. It just becomes this kind of code that we know. The client must be sitting there going, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Beans is a good one. We use beans a lot. Like give it the beans.
Give it the beans. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like we have our own parlance when we were doing a lot of it, and steady on. He says it's always the camera operator's fault. It's always the camera op's fault. Fact. But no, that's it, mate. So. We're talking about all this sort of stuff. I can see people coming in and going, learning the camera, etc., etc., etc. We've talked. You mentioned briefly about kind of giving the Cinema DNG, the raw files to someone. I know when we did a shoot in Liverpool once, it was an all-day shoot. It was a real bitch of a shoot. Yeah. And then got to the end of the day, and the production were like, right, can we have all the files now? And you're like, yes. And they plugged the first drive in. It was like 7 hours because they hadn't got SSDs, and they were like. we've got to get this out in 48 hours. I'm like, well, yeah, you want it. And actually they did, and they ended up, we were like, well, just take the H.264s. And they're like, well, no, we want the raw. Okay, fine. They ended up taking us out for dinner and downloading it over dinner and stuff, which was nice. Like, we got free dinner, but it was a bloody long day, but they ended up.
Yeah, and we've had that before as well, and it's one of those things that if you're going to shoot raw, and I always suggest that we tend to always shoot raw, and we ask the client up front what the deliverable is, and how they might need it, so that we can be prepared, and maybe because obviously you are shooting raw or ProRes at the same time as H.264, so if they've got time to do an offline edit where they take the H.264s and put them in place while they wait for the raws, then there's an option there. But yeah, I always think speak to production as far ahead as you can, and then be wary of that. And we normally through the day we're speaking to if they've got a DIT or a runner, we're saying, look, can you guys just be aware, have you got a drive ready, because we'll start offloading this to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, that's it, and get it done. What so on that then, obviously we can as drone operators hopefully put a bit of sway potentially into what we're going to fly, how we're going to capture it, that sort of thing into production. But when we're doing these things ourselves, you guys, you have these courses now. You are a certified DaVinci Resolve trainer. What, obviously, I mean, we're Premiere primarily, but just because we know it and we're very good at it and it works for our workflows. And it's almost nonsensical for us to switch at this stage because we're so heavily invested into the system. But for people who aren't and they're learning, and we get this a lot, obviously DaVinci Resolve totally free now for the versions all the way up to the kind of what professional grading versions. It's
Well, so you get essentially there's two versions now. There's the free version, which is just DaVinci Resolve, and then you've got DaVinci Resolve Studio, and the Studio version I think is £300. Something like that, $300, £260, something like that. It's really not an expensive piece of equipment when you're considering that they're using this in Hollywood to grade multi-million-pound films. And it's built around its color grading engine. But probably since Blackmagic Design actually acquired DaVinci Resolve, it's been steadily improving, and they've been adding things to it. And what we've got now is a situation where in 16. It's a full production suite. You've got everything that you need to do from a media wrangling point of view, everything that you want to do from an editing point of view. They've just introduced a new cut page, which is like it's like Premiere Pro and Final Cut have had a baby, and they've called it the cut page because that's kind of what it is. It's got this kind of cool dual timeline, which is very handy. It saves you zooming in and zooming out. It's built for speed. It's built for laptop editing. So it's actually great for, I think, for drone users who just need to go dump, 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 tail, top tail, bang, 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 and spit it out the other end as individual images ready for someone to just pull away from them at the end of the day. So if you've got a man on your team who can just be loading in dailies, cutting it and spitting it out, it works really, really well. But they've also got Fusion built in, which is like essentially After Effects, but now as a sort of as a one platform thing. So it's just you literally move along the bottom and it's all in one application. No backing and forthing, no dynamic link, nothing of that sort of business. And Fairlight, which is a sound environment, and then a delivery page. So it really is a one-stop shop production house. And it just, I get what you're saying about Adobe with Premiere Pro, and a lot of people will be built into that. I was a Premiere Pro editor for an awfully long time before I made a switch. I still do bits in Premiere Pro because I've got an Adobe Creative Cloud license. So I still use Photoshop. I do still use After Effects from time to time.
Yep.
But largely because Fusion's still quite new in terms of the DaVinci Resolve sphere, and After Effects, there's more templates out there, there's more plugins, there's more things that are easily able to sort of be wrangled, but DaVinci Resolve has really come a long way since maybe people have heard about it before, and because it's free, I just say, look, if you're starting out, don't go and spend £50 on a Creative Cloud license or at £18 a month for Premiere Pro, which is still a daunting application if you come at it fresh. So if you're coming at it fresh, why not just learn a free platform to begin with that's actually got scope for you to move into some incredibly powerful tools later on.
Yeah, and that's it. It's I think that certainly is the way I would go now. If I was getting into it, and actually I am probably going to look at checking it out because actually it's good to see all the different tools and see actually it might very quickly become actually, do you know what, this makes more sense to me, or actually, no, it doesn't. I'm using all the wrong shortcuts. I'm going to go back again. I don't know.
Well, so the great thing is you can move Premiere Pro shortcuts into DaVinci Resolve, so you'd be quite familiar with everything because the buttons are the same. And they've thought about that, I think, on purpose, because You know, and they've got lots of keyboard customization, all that sort of stuff, good stuff. They've thought it through very, very well, and they're primarily a hardware company, so they that you buy a Blackmagic camera and they give you Resolve Studio. So you know, and their cameras aren't expensive either. They've got a raw shooting pocket, not pocket camera, which shoots 6K raw internally. Like,
amazing.
But it's just a great platform. I, much like yourself, I was a Premiere guy through and through, and I just suddenly went, I'm going to give it a try. And because we need the raw stuff, particularly, that was the thing that
I think, unfortunately, the stream dropped out for a moment then, which is disappointing.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I think it was my stream, I think, which went. Sorry, everybody. It seems to do this at about 10 to 9 every Thursday. So even though we've got a good connection, for some reason it didn't get it. But yeah, no, that's it, mate. So just and we are recording it, as I say, so that we can get everybody see these bits afterwards, just in case. But I suppose rolling on then into the final part of it.
Yeah.
You guys have got a training product for DaVinci. You are a certified trainer. How can that product help people, who are watching the stream? How can that help people to learn it and to get to know it, and how to kind of make themselves better as we move forwards? Just let us, a couple of minutes on that, if you would.
I mean, it's quite simply put. I've been I suppose a bit of an advocate of. I've learned a lot of stuff as I've come up through the years on YouTube and free content. And we were saying, look, I've always been a case of let's give back. And actually, I run a YouTube channel. It's not quite as big as you just yet, but it's a Depict Video Production and Marketing, and we've just passed 700 followers yesterday. That's my other company.
Congratulations.
We do, thank you. We just do we do some filmmaking stuff through there, and we do a bit of Resolve through there too. But as far as we're concerned, we wanted other drone pilots to start using Resolve, and we just felt like there wasn't enough information. It started because there wasn't enough information out there about working with the raw files, particularly that came off the X5R camera. So we thought, well, let's do something. And for people who are either new drone pilots or new to editing, I should say, probably more to the point, who want to learn a new platform but not sure which one to learn, I would strongly advise it being as a good platform. So we thought, well, let's put some free training together. So actually, we've got an hour's workflow. If you go to the link, I think, which you said is in the description, there's a free workshop. It's an hour long, so it's not too weighty. We go into a reasonable amount of detail without being too much, and it gives you an overview of Resolve, but also the kind of workflow that you might follow as a drone pilot specifically to bring your footage in, do enough with it, and then put it out the other side. And then... Nice. So that's go and get that by all means, please. We'd love it if you kind of, join that sort of the Academy community in that respect. And obviously we'll be around if you want questions. That you can. The great thing is it's a lovely portal where you can actually comment. We can actually comment back. We can give you some support that way, and got a Facebook community as well, which we'll invite you into as well if you join the free course, which is great. We then just thought, well, actually, Resolve is such a big platform. I might have glossed over it a bit there.
Yeah.
So for those people who want some more detail, who want to learn something in one place rather than having to, because YouTube is great, there's lots of content out there, and I'm an advocate for people learning on YouTube. But my problem with YouTube is that you've got to spend a lot of time fishing around to find the information that you actually need before you find the video that, oh, that's the one, you've got a particular problem, so you search for it, and then you find the title and maybe the clickbait sort of thumbnail that goes, oh, that's sort of my problem, let me click it. And 20 minutes later, you go, oh, that wasn't the problem. I've just wasted 20 minutes of my time trying to fix something that, or chasing a rabbit down a hole basically I didn't need to go down. So yeah. For us to have it as one place on a course where you could just go, right, it's all clearly labeled, it's all clearly navigatable. You can actually download an app because we host it on Teachable, so you can download the app and take it with you offline as well. So if you happen to be offline, you happen to be traveling, maybe not at the moment, you can obviously take it with you and remember. And as I say, you've got that commentary with us as well. So on YouTube, it's very difficult sometimes to get that conversation with a trainer going. So this enables us to kind of have that sort of, I suppose, that after sale service where you can, keep asking questions, because more often than not, we never cover absolutely everything exactly how everybody needs it covered.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Well, listen, thank you ever so much for coming on and giving your perspective. I think it's really useful, hopefully really insightful to everybody who is watching. Thank you for your time. Managed to avoid bath time and stuff. For anyone who is interested in learning more about this, the guys have got a free course, they've got the paid course, there's a link to it down in the video description already, and please go and visit that out, go and support these guys, because you know, again, Alex on his YouTube channel doing free stuff for everybody. You know, there's a big community here of people who are trying to do useful, helpful, insightful information. And a bit like myself, the only way we can keep doing the free shit is by, unfortunately, as horrible as it is, going and supporting those people that we want to support by, you know, buying certain products from them, you know, that are going to help us. And like I say, upskilling yourself with something like DaVinci Resolve is a great one. And the guys are giving a great deal as well, 50% off using the code Mr. MPW50 on that. So again, no kickback. It's not an advert. It's not a sponsored thing. I literally just dropped them a message a couple of days ago and said, would you be interested in coming in on talking on Thursday night? And then they said, let's do a code as well. So there we go. So everyone, thank you very much to Alex. Please drop your thanks in the comments section. If you've got any questions, you can join the Discord channel for Mr. MPW. There's a link to that in the description, because I know that the Echo Alfa guys are on there as well. And I'm sure they will jump in there and answer your questions, and they've got their own Facebook pages and stuff. Check out. They will answer your questions there. But thank you ever so much, sir. It's very much appreciated. Have a great bank holiday, and I look forward to catching up with you very soon.
Hopefully soon, yeah, hopefully indeed.
That's it. Cheers, dude.
Take care, blue skies, everyone.
Yeah,
bye
blue
now.
skies. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Great stuff. Hopefully that was useful, everybody. Please let me know in the comments if you are enjoying this new format, rather than me just talking to you for an hour. You know, getting a couple of people in. We've got Sean came in tonight. Thank you to Sean from GEEKSVANA for doing that for 10 minutes. We've got Alex came in to talk about it. You know, and if there are people that you want to hear from, let me know. I'll try and get them on. You know, we've got quite a bit of sway now within the industry. We know a lot of people, so if anyone can make that happen, it is probably us, and we can get them on. Let us know what you would like to see. So that is probably going to wrap it all up. Thank you everybody for joining us. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to come out to someone in the community tonight. I'll try and work on the kind of timings a little bit better for next time. This is all new to me as well. It's something totally new. I'm all right when I can work it all out myself and I know what I'm going to say, because I just make it up as I go along, right? And if I've been told I've got 55 minutes, I'll normally hit 55 minutes or an hour and a quarter, as G would like to say, because I do my intro, which I don't count in my timings. But yeah, hopefully this worked for you. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Please keep your questions coming in on email. Please keep supporting the channel. Please give this video a like if you haven't already, and click subscribe for me, please, if you haven't done so already, and spread the news about the channel. You know, we're trying to do this for free. It takes a lot of time, a lot of money invested into it as well. You know, but it's great that we're building a community. Have a wonderful bank holiday. Oh, hang on, one question's just come in. Bob Smith question: what do you think about the single IMU and the Mavic Air 2? And would you buy a Mavic 2 Pro or Mavic Air 2 right now? Have you seen my video on the Mavic Air 2, Bob? If it was me and you can afford it, buy a Mavic 2 Pro. But there's a couple of videos about it. I would say buy a Mavic 2 Pro rather than Mavic Air 2, although it's going to be a great piece of tech. Didn't understand a word Alex said. Yeah, sorry, things like dailies and stuff, I could see people asking about that. We'll try and drop those in into kind of the description or onto Discord, and we'll drop it into Discord, guys, and we'll carry on the conversation there. I'm going to go and see Mrs. MPW because she's been dealing with the children all day while I've been setting the studio up, and it's only fair that I see her for half an hour before the kids wake up again and cause carnage. But yeah, have a great bank holiday weekend, everybody. Fingers crossed the lockdown has eased ever so slightly on Sunday for all the right reasons. Stay healthy, stay happy, look after yourselves, and I will see you, if not before, next Thursday at 8:05 for more of the same. And yes, you can watch this offline. The stream will be saved once we go offline, and it will show up on the channel, and I've made a recording of it as well, just in case that doesn't work like it didn't last week. So there we go. Have a good one, everybody. I've been Matt Williams. Fly safe. Blue skies.